Again, these skulls are all considered Caucasoid by anthropologists, and none have the same craniometric dimensions as American Indians. As an exercise, use your own eyes to determine if these ancient American skulls appear most like the actual skulls of Caucasoid, Asian or Negroid peoples. The first skull is that of Kennewick man. It is more than 9,200 years old. Upon discovery in 1996, anthropologist Dr. James Chatters held a press conference reporting that it was Caucasian, and one of the oldest ever discovered in North America. Now that you have had a cursory tutorial in skull shapes, you can see that the skull is in fact a classic Caucasoid skull shape, nearly identical to that of a classic Caucasoid or dolichocephalic type pictured herein. Pay particular attention to Kennewick man's long narrow skull, as well as the nose hole and protruding chin. It clearly most closely resembles the stereotypical Caucasian skull shape. This is the Lovelock Cave mummy skull unearthed near Lovelock, Nevada. These remains are generally taller in stature than local Indians and appear to have had red hair. This skull clearly has Caucasian features, with an elongated head and large chin. This skull has not been dated, but is thought to belong to the same group as other ancient Caucasian remains from this area, all of which are in the 9,000-year-old range. Notice how the Lovelock Cave skull is long and narrow, with a large protruding chin, characteristic of Caucasoid and not Asian. Also notice its triangular-shaped nose hole and angular eye sockets. Taken together, these features are not characteristic of an African or Negroid skull either. This skull is clearly Caucasoid as well. Next is the skull from Panon Woman 3, which is over 13,000 years old. This is the oldest skull ever found in the Americas. When reported in 2002, The Independent UK stated that, quote, "The most intriguing aspect of the skull is that it is long and narrow and typically Caucasian in appearance, like the heads of white, Western Europeans today." End quote. Again we have a narrow skull with a large protruding chin like a Caucasian. This skull does have larger cheekbones than the classic Caucasoid skull, but it has been determined by this research team that this skull is in fact not Mongoloid or Asian. Based on the skull, Dr. Sylvia Gonzalez, a Mexican-born archaeologist working at John Moores University as research leader investigating this and other similar skulls found in Mexico, reported in 2002, that her discovery lends weight to the highly contentious idea that the first Americans may have actually been Europeans. Here is the Spirit Cave mummy, also found in Nevada. It is approximately 9,400 years old, and shows no physical similarity to modern American Indian head shapes. Spirit Cave mummy has a long narrow skull, large protruding chin and triangular-shaped nose opening. In the year 2000, when its skull measurement results were published by the Bureau of Land Management using the Jensen and Owsley database, it was found to most closely resemble the Norse people and secondarily the Ainu, both of which are Caucasoid peoples. Again, looking at the Kennewick man skull, and a classic Amerindian or Asian Indian skull from the Americas, you see the striking difference. The Caucasoid skull of Kennewick man is thin, and long and has a protruding chin. The Asian skull has a more stout chin, wider cheekbones, a flatter face and less protruding nose area. Remember the rule of thumb table test. The Amerindian skull shown here would probably easily lie flat, face down on a table, whereas Kennewick man and the other skulls just shown, for example, Lovelock Cave skull, Spirit Cave skull, and Panon Woman 3 skull, would all fall to one side as their nose protrudes beyond their cheekbones, thus providing additional supportive evidence that they are Caucasoid. Here is a front and side view of the Lovelock Cave skull, found in 1911. It is long and thin, with a large chin, that does not protrude from the rest of the face as with the classic Negroid skull type. Further, as you look at the nose opening relative to the cheekbones, it is clear that the skull would not lay face down on a table, and thus does not appear Asian. Again, its shape is consistent with the skull of a Caucasoid person. You've now seen actual pictures of these skulls with your own eyes. This is merely a sample of the many ancient Caucasoid skulls found in the Americas. Approximately 20 have been found to date, and radiocarbon dating shows that these ancient Caucasoid skulls are in fact older than any broad, wide skulls ever found in the Americas. These latecomers are the ancestors to the later arriving Indians, and their mestizo descendants. That these Caucasoid skulls are the oldest ever found lends support to the revolutionary idea that Stone Age Caucasians were the first people to settle the Americas. And the evidence just keeps mounting supporting this view.